Root Riders, despite not having a new level, are still as strong as ever, and with the addition of the new Dragon Duke and buff throwers, this army is stronger than ever before. So let's break down how you can use Root Riders in 2026, from the hero equipment to the steps needed to 3-star any base with this army. Now before we break down the army, let's focus on the equipment needed, as it's a good balance between epic and common equipment. Starting with the Royal Champion, she will often prefer her Electro Boots and Rocket Spear, as this is a staple for short Royal Champion charges. Both abilities enable you to have power in the form of the DPS increase the Rocket Spear gives you, while having a way to deal with skeleton traps during your charge, and the passive damage that will help your Royal Champion charge. The Rocket Spear can also be used later in the attack when she is used to support the main push. With the Archer Queen, her action figure and magic mirror is preferred. This gives her a ton of DPS and survivability to work with, as she has 2 additional queens doing damage along with the Giant to protect them all with his very high HP. If you lack one or both of these epics, you can substitute them out for the Healer Puppets and Giant Arrow to help out with some DPS increase while activating Invis Towers in addition to survivability with the healer spawns. As for the Grand Warden, you'll want to run his Eternal Tome and Rage Gem. This combo combines the strength of the Rage Gem with the healer's healing output, in addition to absolute protection from the Eternal Tome, allowing you to prevent damage on everything, including the healers, making this a solid combo to run with both Root Riders and healers. And lastly is the Dragon Duke, as he wants his Fireheart and Stun Blaster equipment. While paired with the Angry Jelly, this combo allows him to support both himself with the Fireheart's large self-heal and support the troops with his Stun Blaster, which can prevent damage for a short duration in a large radius, giving him very flexible uses no matter where he is on the base. However, if you're upgrading the Dragon Duke, you can instead use the Barbarian King with his Giant Gauntlet and Stick Horse equipment. This is a very powerful option, as it allows you to tank a ton of damage with the Giant Gauntlet while ignoring walls, in addition to moving and attacking faster with his Stick Horse equipment. Having these two is essential to using the King with Root Riders, and can be used similarly to the Dragon Duke, as either the King or Duke want the Angry Jelly. If you do lack these epic equipment though, consider using the Duke even if it's at a lower level, but you should consider using my creator code CorruptYT to support me and the channel. Now for the attack, you'll want to start with the Royal Champion charge, as you want to take advantage of the invisibility from the spell and the Spirit Fox. To time your invisibility spells with the Spirit Fox, use your invisibility spells every 10 seconds. You want to use them at every 6-second interval. So 256, then drop an invisibility, 246, then drop an invisibility, and repeat this until either you run out of invisibility spells or the Spirit Fox dies. If the Spirit Fox does die, you can use your invisibility spells every 4 seconds to keep the Royal Champion away from damage. You can also help path your Royal Champion with rocket balloons in between invisibilities, as they target defenses while avoiding walls, making it perfect for you to use to control the Royal Champion's pathing more or less. However, once all the invisibility spells have expired, use your recall spell to return the Royal Champion, and if it stays alive, the Spirit Fox back to your army to be used with the Root Riders. This sets up enough pathing to start sending in your Root Riders into the base, but you do need to cut off the funnel for both your Root Riders and throwers as they work in. From there, you'll want to set up a bit of funneling quickly for your throwers, as you're using them with the Root Riders and a few heroes to wreck the rest of the base. This can be as simple as using Super Barbarians and a few leftover rocket balloons to help funnel them in, but you will likely use the Archer Queen instead to do this. Regardless if you're using any combination of epic and or common equipment, you will use the Queen to control the pathing of your Root Riders and the throwers as they work along the base. Having an Ice Golem can help protect the Queen before using her ability, while giving a nice freeze upon its death. Now the Queen can either go in and help with DPS for your Root Rider push, or you can have her continue funneling on the outside, as either way, she will get value no matter if she is inside or outside the base. However, if you like to support the channel further, join the channel memberships for exclusive perks by hitting the join button and choosing a tier of your choice. As for your Dragon Duke, he is very flexible in this army. Since he is nearly always using the Angry Jelly, you can send him in away from your Root Rider push to clear defenses that might be tough to reach till later in the attack, where you can clear those out and minimize damage from long-range threats like the Eagle Artillery and Monolith or Fire Spitters. You can also use him to funnel defenses inside the base while the Queen clears trash buildings on the outside, maintaining a funnel for both Root Riders and throwers inside the base. He can also use his Stun Blaster equipment to provide support for himself or your troops as he works around the base. Just use it when you feel you need to protect him or other troops around him. Taking a revive spell is also clutch in certain moments, especially for the Dragon Duke and his strong passives, making the revive spell's 80% HP revive a strong option, but can also work for other heroes like the Royal Champion, Archer Queen, and Grand Warden. But with all that, let's focus on the Root Rider smash itself. With the Root Riders, you will have the Grand Warden and Royal Champion providing support with their abilities, in addition to throwers, who can do a ton of damage under a Rage Gem aura, allowing you to have great counters for defensive CC troops, guardians, and enemy heroes. As you're working into the base, having balloons to scout out for Seeking Air Mines early, or even red air bombs, will help look out for the healers, while also having the troop launcher, which can have additional rocket balloons and Yetis to scout traps and add damage with the Root Riders. You additionally have an Overgrowth spell, which I recommend to always use around the core of the base to minimize damage and control the pathing of your Root Riders to keep them alive as they deal with other defenses. You can also use totem spells to distract defenses away from your push as they are working towards them, but you can also use the Eternal Tome around the core of the base, especially after the Overgrowth expires, to keep all of the troops and healers alive, especially if any traps show up as you work through the base. You can additionally use the Royal Champion's Rocket Spears whenever you like to get value from the equipment, but that should be enough to help move you around the base with support from your heroes and spells. With an understanding of the new and improved Root Rider Smash army, here is the army comp I recommend using for Town Hall 16 to Town Hall 18 players, as you can take full advantage of the Angry Jelly and the Dragon Duke. However, let's give you a full example of the army to prevent you from failing with this strong attack. Now for this attack, we are going to be starting with, obviously, the Royal Champion charge. We're using a few rocket balloons to set up a bit of funneling for our Royal Champion, and we're going to time our invisibility spells at those 6-second intervals. So every 10 seconds, we're using that invisibility. Now, if you're dealing with something like the Bomb Hive, or if the Bomb Hive, completely leaves, this doesn't matter anymore, use a Skeleton spell. This is especially good for Town Hall 18 players, as the Bomb Hive is a super big counter to Royal Champion charges, so using a Skeleton spell is a great way to prevent it from doing too much damage. Otherwise, just keep timing your invisibility spells until the Spirit Fox dies, then you can start using them every 4 seconds, but then you'll recall her back into your army. This should establish really good pathing, where you can then use your Root Riders, a few Super Barbarians to kind of control a bit of the trash buildings, and obviously your throwers, the Grand Warden, the Royal Champion to also work in alongside it, and your Archer Queen being used to control the pathing for the throwers and the rest of the army. You can use rocket balloons as well to help control the Root Riders further as they work around. An Overgrowth should be used probably around the core of the base, where you can get plenty of great value in pathing. The Dragon Duke in this case is being used at the topmost part of the base, being able to help clear defenses and can also work in with the Root Riders. You've got a Stun Blaster, which can both help himself and the troops around him as you continue to work around the base. Throwers do a lot of damage under the Rage Gem, so you're able to very easily use them to clear things like the Guardians or defensive heroes. As you work towards the back end, the Eternal Tome is a great choice here, as you can prevent a lot of damage from traps, in addition to preventing too much damage on the rest of your troops. Now, you do also have a revive spell, and this is especially strong with the Dragon Duke, as he gets a very strong passive, so reviving him is almost always worth it. But if he's still alive, you can revive any of your other heroes, especially things like the Grand Warden, since the Rage Gem is always constant. You can also bring back the Archer Queen in cases where she can move in with your army, or even the Royal Champion if she dies a little too early. Otherwise, this army is incredibly strong, and as so long as you have cleanup, this will be a very dominant strategy. No matter the town hall level, Root Riders are still a very strong troop, and the Dragon Duke gives you more ways to minimize damage and create better pathing as you work through with your Root Riders. However, if you want to check which equipment you should be prioritizing for all the heroes, including the new Dragon Duke, check this video out, but YouTube says you might prefer this one instead.